Bethany Warren here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy! I'm your host, Bethany Warren, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Jeff Burnige, Stan Godwin and Eamonn Barclay.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Brilliant news arrived on Wednesday. Lewisham Council agreed on a 999-year lease to Millwall Football Club for the ground and the surrounding area. Our chairman, James Berylson, stated, "We are delighted that Lewisham Council has offered Millwall Football Club a new long lease that will permit us to bring forward development plans in New Bermondsey for residential accommodation, a new community and an ambitious football club." He added, "I am particularly grateful to Lewisham Mayor Brenda Dacres and her predecessor Damien Egan MP, both of whom offered friendship and support to Millwall and acknowledged our ambitions for the local community and our club." We caught up with Millwall Community Trust CEO Sean Daly.
Brenda Dacres' statement last night. Both Millwall Football Club and the Millwall Community Trust continue immensely in our local community to provide the life-changing opportunities for those so many in our borough. We look forward to continue to support their important work. That statement last night sort of like gave us the rubber stamp is that, we're well thought of in the Lewisham and we're going to continue our work. The lease will ensure that the football club stays here, but with that will come the work that we continue to do in the community scheme. My role here has always been to secure Millwall's foothold in both boroughs, Lewisham and Southwark, and this has made us even greater. Brenda, we personally know when she was Deputy Mayor, used to support all our programmes, including her son and family members being part of some of our programmes. So we're looking forward now to making more impact in Lewisham.
Well, I think we will see some amazing things evolve in SE16. This is just brilliant, and what John Berylson and the club fought for. Wow.
In other news, we say goodbye to Millwall FC Chief Executive Steve Kavanagh, who joined us in October 2016, along with Alex Aldridge, Director of Football Operations and Recruitment, and Billy Taylor, Chief Operating Officer at Millwall FC. And we say hello to Steve Gallen, the former Head of Recruitment at Charlton.
Back to the football. On Saturday afternoon in South Wales, we beat the Swans 1-0. This was courtesy of our second half strike by Denor and a penalty save by Sarkic. It was our fifth win on the spin. Jeff, no matter how Swansea tried, we contained them, and there was only one save for Sarkic from the penalty spot. What did you make of the result?
Well, obviously, delighted with the result. It was one step up from our usual recent away performances, but typically we dug in the first half, playing what they call first goal football. But in the second half, we began to look the stronger side. I think we made more chances. And when the goal came, it was nice that it was a goal for Casper Denor. He appears to have been enjoying the last few weeks, even though he's not figured a great deal. Perhaps next season will be the season we see the best of him. I thought it was an excellent performance, and I'm really looking forward to what improvements to the squad we'll be able to make in the summer. But some of those players that were brought in on loan this year will take a bit of improving on, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Stan, Swansea were a team that were lauded for their attacking style. How do you think we muted them?
I suspect that from the offset, I mean, if you let teams like Swansea, as you say, are reputed for that, what you can't allow them to do at home or away is to get a foothold in the game. My view is that from the first whistle, we have to go about putting our stamp on the performance rather than let them do it, So we close them down, we don't give them time and all that sort of thing. We put them out of gear. And when I say that, I'm not talking about knocking people up in the air. I'm just, So, and once you then do that, you've got to keep it up because they're a good side. So we ended up finishing 13th. And I think I read today, we turned out to be 9 points less, I think they said, than we was the same time last season before when we qualified for the playoffs. So, yeah. So, no, I'm quite happy with it. We won the game and fine. And I agree with Jeff when he said that some of them loan players that have gone, they're going to take Simi placing. I think so.
Yeah.
But no, it was fine. We won the game 1-0 and everyone's happy.
Exactly. And Eamonn, who are your standout players from our final championship game of the 23-24 season?
Well, it was 3 actually. Danny McNamara was man of the match, no doubt. Danny McNamara demonstrated the sort of form that he had towards the end of last season. He came flying down on the left wing on this occasion instead of the right, so it shows that he can do it on both sides, and clearly made the goal that Denor scored. He really did get on the nerves of their centre-back and full-back. Then he made one daft intersection where he took a player out, and I thought, on a bad day, this could be a red card, but thankfully it was only a yellow. The other guy has got to be our man Longman on the right-hand side, who kept piling it down and putting crosses in and having shots and looked quite lethal. But he didn't put it in the back of the net. And last but not least, it's got to be Sarkic. I mean, whichever way, people say, oh, well, it was easy for him. It was at the right height for him to catch it. And he didn't. And I thought, dear, oh dear. You've still got to guess which way you're going to go. No, those were my 3 standout players. I look forward to seeing at least 2 of them next season.
Well, I hope that we get to keep a few of our players next season. I'd love to see Tanganga stay, but I don't think that's probably an option for us. But definitely Norton, Cuffy and Longman, but I'd love to keep Obafemi. And do you know what? I'd keep all 5, but I don't think that's going to be a possibility. So anyway, we will take a break there and hear about our sponsor, G&M Motors.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned marque. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julian's here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 365 026. G&M Motors have been dear friends of the Julians family for over 4 decades now. From my dad Lenny to me, Debbie, Lions together.
I'm your host, Bethany Manktolo, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Jeff Burnige, Stan Godwin and Eamonn Barclay. Many thanks to our sponsor, G&M Motors. Why not check out the Hondas and see what else they have on site at Gravesend? Our first guest of the evening was part of our team that brought us back to the championship, having chipped in with 15 goals in 57 appearances during the 2016-17 season as a striker. He jogged around with joy and a beaming face after the playoff final at Wembley. Having joined us as a youngster, this youth team product made 226 appearances for us, kept the bench warm for another 42 occasions and scored 44 goals. He also represented the Republic of Ireland from under 17 through to full international on 22 occasions, scoring 10 goals. The goal he scored in Poland led it to being named the 2018 Football Association of Ireland Goal of the Year. He is the only Millwall player to gain this accolade while playing for Millwall. He left us at the end of the 2019-20 season and joined Sunderland in League One. Let's say no more and welcome the one and only Aiden O'Brien.
That was a terrific debrief. How's everyone? All right?
All right.
Good evening, mate. Good evening.
All good, Aiden.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, I'm
to
good,
hear
Aiden.
your dulcet tones.
Good. Enjoying the weather?
Oh, it's glorious. More of this.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I'm talking about. Enjoying the weather. You can't complain. It's always raining, so when it's a
Well,
bit
it has
sun out,
been.
you've got
It
to
has
use
been.
it wisely.
Yeah, the sun is shining.
Exactly.
So, Aidan, before I hand you over to the panel, I've got so many great memories of you scoring some amazing goals with your feet, body, flicks, headers, but one at the Den where it was almost an overhead kick stands out for me. But what is your most memorable goal?
It gets asked a lot, that question. But I'm gonna have to keep it short and sweet and just say both the Leeds goals, home goal and away goal.
Yeah.
First of all, the home goal, we won 1-0. I think you'll probably remember. It was a late goal and it was at home, so you can't really beat that against Leeds. And the away goal was I think it was the first goal in the 4-3 thriller. So both of them two goals were just because it's against Leeds as well, really.
Absolutely.
Aidan, yes, very good memories, those two goals. And as you say, it is nice when it's against Leeds. We do have a very good rivalry with them. So I remember you coming through our youth ranks. I watched you play in the youth team, playing up front with that other young player that came through and made a league career. What was his name? Connor Wilkinson, is it?
Connor Wilkinson, yeah, Connor Wilkinson. Yeah.
You were miles better than him, mate. You were miles better than him. I can remember seeing you arriving into the first team squad as a 17-year-old and making that League Cup debut at Molineux when we unfortunately did get thrashed. On that day, you replaced the never forgotten Danny and Gesson.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. How do you remember your Millwall baptism?
Well, that day was interesting because I was told I was travelling. I believe I was travelling with another striker, if you don't remember, called Toby Alabi. And I was told before, look, you guys are travelling. Just be ready to travel. Wasn't told I was on the bench or anything like that. So we were just absolutely over the moon just to be travelling with the first team, you know. And then I found out I'm on the bench. I think Toby was on the bench as well, but I found out I was on the bench, and then it was just like another thing after another. I was thinking, this is unbelievable. We're on the bench, first team. And then about 70th minute, I can't remember exactly, but I probably had about 15 minutes. It felt like about 15 minutes. And then he got the call saying, you know, you're coming on, go get warm. And I'll be honest with you, I was so nervous. But because we were like probably 3 or 4-0 down at the time, I was like, hey, to be honest, you can't do any worse. Just go out there and just go and enjoy yourself. And it was I was the most excited 17-year-old in Wolves at that time. It was unbelievable.
What a day.
Yeah. That was the start, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you never forget your debut, do you?
No, that was the start. Although it was a bad start. It was the start. So yeah, I'll never forget that. That's for sure.
Aidan, stand here, mate. How do you remember that day at Wembley that led to us to staying Championship football for 8 years?
Yeah, well, it's easy, really. I'm just proud to be a part of that team that can regain Championship status. You know, you ain't been relegated since now, and that's testament to everything what's going on now, and that has been going on since, you know, I've been there, and hopefully we can keep that league title, league status, and which is Neil Harris. We'll touch on a bit later, I'm sure of. But Neil Harris has obviously done that this year. Credit to him. But that time when I was there, when we get promoted, It's just a testament to our character, really, because we went to Wembley the year before and we lost, didn't we?
That's right, yeah.
And most people would have said, right, that was their chance, they blew it, But no, we went again, and we literally done the same thing all over again, the same route, but we ended on a positive result that time and ended up getting promoted. So that just sums up our character and what we had in the change room at the time. The characters we had. We weren't quitters, we weren't losers. We were all together. If one of us were going out, we'll all go out, and it all adds up to our performances on the pitch. And that showed. And that's how we got promoted, really. And I'm just proud to be a part of that setup and that team.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Look, I can picture your face and grinning and holding on to that playoff cup. Aiden, it's Eamonn here, mate.
Hi, mate.
Ian Holloway saw you as a player with a future at Millwall, and you blossomed under Neil Harris when he became our manager.
Yes.
What was playing like under Neil in League One and the Championship like?
Well, firstly, let me just touch on Ian Holloway just quickly. He was, I think I'm pretty sure to say he gave me my first league start against Derby away on my 21st birthday. So I'd like to thank him for that, for showing belief and faith in me. But one thing about Ian Holloway that I would say is that he always used to say to me, in training, playing with all the big boys in the first team, he used to say to me, just play with freedom. Don't worry about anything else. And I always admired him for that. I always admired him to kind of always encourage and help me, So, yeah, just give him props. I just wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out on that one. He was a very good manager and allowed the young players to express themselves.
And you did play with freedom, mate. You did.
Yeah. But in terms of the Neil Harris effect, I know those of you that know that have been at Mill, probably all of you know this. He was the under-21s manager, weren't he?
Yeah.
And that's when we first really had a proper encounter, me and him, on the football side of things. Because I did play with him, but I was very young. But when he first come to the 21s, I really thought, this is going to work. Just straight off the back of meeting him on the first day, because the way he approached me, the way he spoke to me, the way he, we just got each other. Do you know what I mean? We just got each other. He understand what I needed to get the best out of me, and I understood what he needed as a manager at the time for the 21s. And I'll never forget one time he said to me, "Look, just to let you know, Aiden, I'm not sure what's going on upstairs, but if I get this Millwall job, just to let you know, be ready because you're coming in with me." And I was like thinking, wow, like I'm ready. I was just thinking, I'm ready. Let's do it. Literally about a month later, he gets appointed manager. I'm straight in. So fair play to him. He kept his word. But he's a top manager, and he done terrific things for the end of the season. This to keep you lot, up, because you did have a tough season, haven't you? To be honest. Yeah.
Thanks, Aiden.
No.
It's Jeff again here, Aiden.
Hi, mate.
Yeah. Bethany mentioned earlier about you scoring the FAI goal of the season, didn't she? And she said you were the only one that did it while you were at Millwall. It was also done, wasn't it, by Andy Keogh, but when he did it, he was actually at Wolves, not at Millwall. So going on to your time with the Republic of Ireland teams, I remember so clearly your debut in the first team. You play up front on your own, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, correct. I do.
And not only that, you scored a goal, didn't you?
Yeah, honestly, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, honestly, that day, I still get the fact that you've just mentioned that now. I'm still getting a bit goosebumps now. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And that little fact about me being the only one that the FAI Goal of the Year award. That's one for the history books. I didn't know that. So cheers for letting me know that. That's quite nice to know. But in terms of the island stuff. There's a little story that goes behind that one. I'll be quick with it. But yeah, it was in that we always used Martin O'Neill always used to do meetings in the hotels before we leave for the match. So it'd be like 5 o'clock or so, and we'd be leaving at like 5:15. It'd be a quick meeting. He would just say the team, and then we'll get on our way. And then we're all in the meeting. He says the team, and he goes, O'Brien, last name up top. Didn't tell me anything before. Didn't have no inkling, nothing that I would be starting. And then I get told I'm starting, so obviously I'm shaking in my boots. And then I end up playing probably one of the best games that I've played in my career.
Yeah.
Like literally, everything fell for me. Everything was, doing everything come off really. And then I ended up scoring. And the funny thing is, I ended up crying in the celebration. So all the boys ended up battering me for the rest of the week. So it's quite funny, but it's a real moment and real proud moment for me and my family.
Brilliant.
Did you have time to get your family to the game, Aiden?
The funny thing is, no, because I didn't have a clue I was starting, which was quite sad. But they all watched it. But because I only found out I was starting on the day, it was in Poland.
Yeah.
So it was tough. But they come to the next one, which I started. I started the game after that, which was Wales at home.
Yeah.
So they come to that one. So that was perfect.
Well, I watched both of those games. When I found out you were playing in Poland, I made sure I sat and watched it. I
appreciate that.
Really, I like to see every Millwall player make their international debut, but I doubt if I ever would have got to Poland, even if I had but I did watch the game, and I don't think you're being too big-headed. You did have a great game in Poland. What was the result? Was it a 1-1?
We drew 1-1. We drew 1-1, which was a disappointment. It was a disappointment because it would have been the icing on the cake if my goal was the one that, got us the win. Especially with a little bad period we've been in, like losing a few, drawing a few. That would have been the first win in a little while. So that would have been the icing on the cake. But I'm not going to complain.
When you were in the age group side coming through for Ireland, what's your best memory of that? And who did you play under whose management?
Well, there was first manager was a man called Sean McCaffrey. And then he was brilliant. That was for the 17s. And then there was another guy called Noel King. Not sure if you heard of them two both, but there were two brilliant managers, and they were just very positive, and they trusted in me up top, and I ended up scoring. I think I was probably 2 goals or 1 or 2 goals off Robbie Brady, who was the all-time group stage type of Europe, like games, goal scoring, leading type thing, one of them things. So I was 2 goals off it, which was disappointing. I'll try to get that. I wanted to get that, but I couldn't quite reach it. But they were just brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. The whole time they were there, they made it fun. They didn't make it too serious. It was just a brilliant setup. And it was an easy path, really, if you do well, and if you did well to get into the club team, because it was there was a lot of first team players at the time. Like we were playing against Germany. Mustafi was playing against us. People, big names we were playing against, who have now gone on to do really good things. So it was a good experience, and it helped into nurturing me into the player I am today.
Right.
So how did you come to declare for Ireland when you were born in England? What was the circumstance of you making that decision?
That was another pretty simple one. My nan and granddad were a massive part in my family and my upbringing, and they were like fully Irish. Right? If you had a convo with them, you'd be like, "What are you talking? I don't even know what you're saying." Like they were really, really strong, like Southern Irish accents, So, and we were there every day after school, so they were massive parts in our lives. So, and to add to that, they've got 10 children, which is obviously one of them's my mum, and it's all all of them's got Irish background. So it was a no-brainer. it was a no-brainer. As soon as I had the decision, it was just made straight away. It never was England, to be honest with you.
In a way, Aiden, it was an honour for your granddad and your grandmother then. Apart from your mum and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the big thinking of it behind it. You know, they were past at the time, very, very close to when I was getting called up, and they saw me through the young ages. But when I first went to the first team, they both passed. God rest their souls. And then that was basically it. I just wanted to make sure that they were happy with me, because I the amount I kind of loved them, really, and I wanted to make sure that it was Ireland, and it always was Ireland.
Yeah. But no, I know what you mean. I can only talk about how you felt with your granddad, because I had the same with my granddad.
Yes.
I can't say my grandmother because she died some years before and I didn't know her anyway. But
right,
no, I get that. Anyway, I've got some questions for you. It's
cool.
Now, what it is, I don't know if you're aware, we do this fan out the dugout thing, and we ask questions, and I've got them for you, mate. But don't worry, there's nothing too testy.
Yeah, right. Go on. I'll try answer them the best I can, and as honest as I can. But go on.
Right. The first one is, who was the Millwall player that inspired you the most when you were with us?
Easy, Byron Webster.
Oh,
easy.
Right. Okay.
He was my father figure. He'd done everything for me off the pitch, and he mentally coached me on the pitch as well. Yeah, easy, very easy.
Right, okay. What Millwall kit did you like the most?
Oh, that's a good question. Was it what was that one? It was like all blue with strips of white. It was like a DCS roofing one. Is that DCS?
Yeah, I know the one you mean. The one
it's like an all blue through the middle, and then it has like little white bits on the collar, little white bits on the.
Yeah.
It's like DCS roofing or something like that on the logo. Yeah, right. That was my favourite one.
Right, and do you still follow the Lions today?
What kind of question is that? Of course I do.
Oh,
is that a wind-up?
No. Some people, I mean, somebody was asked that question once before, not by me, and and whether they got it, I think to be generous, they were surprised that it got there, and they struggled to answer the question momentarily.
Yeah,
but,
well,
anyway,
there's no struggle there, mate. Honestly, Millwall is in my blood. Like I've been here 12 years. I've been here since a kid. Like I support Millwall. I don't just follow. I support Millwall. So and it always will to the end of my days.
Right.
Fantastic.
Anyway, okay, mate. That's me.
Brilliant.
Done. Right.
No problem.
There you go. Well, it's me again, Aiden Eamonn.
Hello, mate.
Just before I ask you my question, so where did Nan and Grandad in Ireland come from?
One of them come from Dublin.
Yeah.
And then another one come from Carrick-on-Shore.
Ah, very nice. Very nice indeed.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. Well, I always used to watch the Irish games for other reasons, as you can imagine.
Yes. Yes.
So there you go.
Good
Can't
reasons.
be too bad. Yeah. All the same reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, we had a tumultuous season, as they often say in Ireland. Our chairman, John Berylson, was killed in a car crash. Gary Rowett departed. Rob Edwards came in, and relegation loomed. Then Neil Harris returned based on a promise to the late John Berylson. Neil stated he would return if the club were in trouble. He did. Yeah. And we remain in the Championship. Only 3 wins off the points tally that we had last season. What did you make of Neil's return?
Well, firstly, I want to just quickly say the tragic news, condolences to his family. It's the least I could say. Huge loss to everyone. But yeah, Neil Harris, I said it, I even tweeted it, saying when it was getting announced, this is the man we need right now. And everyone laughed at me on Twitter, and as they do, you got the Twitter stuff and all that, which is fine. It's no problem. But trust me when I say that man, Neil Harris, he was the only man to go in and save that. I promise you that. He, as you guys know, it takes a certain person, a certain character to go and take that role and be the Millwall manager. It's not easy. You need to know the ins and outs of the football club, and Neil Harris knows that down to a T. And that is exactly why you done exactly what you did when he come in and won all them games which you needed to win. There's no grey area about it. It's because he knows the football club, and that was a genius move from the people that appointed him at that time. So fair play, and he is a top guy and a very good manager, and I just wish him all the best. Wish him all the best for next season.
Yeah, that's a great statement and conclusion. Thanks, Aiden.
No problem at all.
Cheers, mate.
Aiden, I see that you've left Shrewsbury. So have you got any plans going forward?
Just had a few beers this last week, you know.
Nice. Yeah.
I had a few biscuits. I've had 2 weeks of absolutely enjoying myself because it's been a long season.
Yeah.
So come Monday, I'm getting back on the horse and I'm getting back to the hard graphs and the sweating and the preparations for the pre-season for whatever club that may be at. And the question you had asked was, what's the plans? I don't have any plans. I don't have any. I've not spoke to an agent. I've not done anything like that because I just don't want to know right now. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. I've just enjoyed my time with my family, playing hide and seek every morning at 6:30 a.m. with my son. And to be fair, try play hide and seek when you're half asleep. It's so funny. It's so funny. But I'm just enjoying myself and my family because I didn't get to see him for the last four months of the season. That I've just switched off really. But I'll be ready for whatever team I join in June, late in June. Hopefully I can get a club. You know, hopefully I can get somewhere local, and I can start banging in some goals again.
Absolutely. Well, Aiden, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts and your memories. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, and we look forward to talking to you in the not too distant future if you'll hopefully come back again.
No problem. It's been a pleasure for me. Don't thank me. It's all a pleasure's all mine.
Thanks, Aiden. Well, all the best to you and to your family, and from the team, thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon.
No problem. See you later. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
Have a good
Cheers,
evening,
Aiden.
guys,
Yeah, great.
All the best, mate. And enjoy hide and seek with your young son. What's his name?
He's asleep now. But yeah, I'll do it at 5 a.m. probably tomorrow. But yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
What's his name? Aiden?
Mariano.
Mariano. What gorgeous name.
Yeah, different. But yeah. He's coming. Don't worry. He's going to be the new Millwall left mid one day.
That's what we want.
Oh, that's what we want,
He's got a great right foot on him, I'll tell you that. But anyway,
Brilliant.
It's early days.
Good. Cheers, Aiden.
No problem, guys. Have a good evening, yeah?
And you. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we will take a break there and hear about the Military Veteran Football Initiative.
Got you, Eamonn. Millwall Community Trust was recently awarded a £10,000 grant from the Scarborough EFL Buildings Foundations, and the fund is to re-engage ex-military servicemen and women back into the civilian life through a football programme. Now, John Scarborough, a former non-league footballer and now the Trust Education and Employability Manager, talks to Eamonn about this initiative.
John, Football for Ex-Service Personnel is a new initiative for the Millwall Community Trust. How did that come about?
It came about through a Scarborough EFL Building Foundations grant that was available for CCOs up and down the country to go for. We wanted to work with particularly the veteran community from previous programmes where we've worked providing employment programmes for them. From the grant, we were able to A, be successful with it, but B, it was also identified as a launch event due to its affinity with the veteran community. And also what we wanted to do was run 2 programmes, one being to support veterans with football provision, bringing them together, and the second being able to provide a wider support network around that football element via breakfast clubs and information, advice and guidance sessions.
That's fantastic. Where and when does it all happen, and how can you get involved?
Yeah, where and when's a good question. So we run every Thursday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the Lion Centre every week. In addition to that, on Saturdays, we're working with the RBL and North Bermondsey branch to set up regular drop-in breakfast clubs and coffee mornings on a Saturday. The times are to be confirmed, but they'll soon be coming out. In addition to the football session on the Thursday, we have wrap-around sort of catch-ups before and after with the group.
That's great working with the RBL, the Royal British Legion, but I now understand you have expanded this initiative beyond South East London and the normal areas the Millwall Community Trust operate within.
Yeah, the main reason being is that when we were starting this out, we realised that it was limited, if anything, no real football provision for military veterans in the London and South East area. There's a lot of support in the North and the Midlands, and we were able to identify a particular club up in the North East called Military Veteran Football Club, who provide 5-a-side sessions run by veterans, for veterans, and they've been able to branch out over a number of years across the North East into Scotland, into the North West and into the Midlands and even the South West, but they had nothing in London. So we had a discussion with them, and we were able to proudly say that we've become the London hub for that club as they continue to develop. That will enable us to reach out to veterans across London and the South East. Particularly London is a key area because of the high population of veterans within the locality. So we're hopeful that by providing this service that we can bring people together and also link them into other services and agencies that provide support for veterans.
That's fantastic. Thanks very much for that report, guys. Now, if you're an ex-military man or woman interested in participating, then please contact John Scarborough on 07855 088 068. I'll say that again. That's 07855 088 068. Or check it out on the Millwall Community Trust on social media and their website. Just visit Military Veteran Football. It sounds like great fun down at the Lion Centre in Ballina Road, SE16. And you don't even need to be a Millwall fan. Thank you very much, guys. Coming up for you next, this is Led Zeppelin with Whole Lot of Love.
I'm your host, Bethany Manctalo, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Jeff Burnige, Stan Godwin and Eamonn Barclay. Get in touch with John Scarborough on 07855 088 068. I'll say that again. That's 07855 088 068. Or check out the Millwall Community Trust on social media and their website, or visit the website of Military Veteran Football. John will welcome you at the Lion Centre beside the Den. Now let's hear from Ellis Barr. Keep us updated.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos, so you will all know that I don't wear splints as much anymore. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to. Come on, Millwall!
Thank you, Ellis, and goodbye until next season. First up, Millwall Romans, not to be outdone by Pride, played Charlton in the London Unity League Cup semi-final on Sunday afternoon. Paul Loding picks up the story for us.
Hi, it's Paul Loding at the Millwall Romans with a quick update for the week. First of all, just want to extend our thanks to the Millwall Community Trust for inviting us to the Player of the Year Awards last week. We had a really, really good time, and the players were certainly on good form. So big thanks to Sean and the team there for inviting us to that. Update from our side, we had a very, very good result. The Romans team playing in the LUL semi-final of the Cup competition against our rivals Charlton. Played them a couple of weeks ago in the GFSN, and it just didn't seem to flow very well. This week, though, it went a lot better. Started the game off a bit scrappy in the first half, playing our standard as we have been for the last season, 4-3-3. Created a couple of chances. Nothing. Charlton really couldn't penetrate our defence at all. So went in at half time, 1-0 up. Came out from the second half with a view of sort of playing a bit more direct away from the centre backs. You know, playing it around when we were touching it around from the centre back to midfielders and back three or four passes, and then going direct. That's when we seemed to be getting our success against their fullbacks, which couldn't really handle the pace of our wingers. So the plan was to kind of knock it round, 3 or 4 and then go a bit more direct, which seemed to be getting a success. However, 10 minutes into the second half, we conceded a free kick 30 yards out, which ricocheted off myself into the top corner. Quality goal from me, but obviously in the wrong end. However, the team really dug deep, and we certainly weren't going to let Charlton win again. And we just kept fighting and managed to put 6 away against them in the whole game. So we finished the game 6-1 to put us through to the LUL Cup final, prior to through to the Shield final, both to be held on the 9th of June over in West London. That'd be a really, really good afternoon, and it'd be great if both teams can bring back some silverware. In terms of moving forward, we've still got a few league games from the Romans' perspective. If we can afford to draw one, which obviously we don't want to do, but we can afford to draw one, which would put us in league champions.
Any thoughts, Stan and Eamonn?
Well, I've said this before. I'm beginning to sound like a stuck record, but I can only admire what they do. I mean, ever since we've had the Romans and Pride, it's just been, one success after another. I mean, failure. I mean, now and again they slip up and whatever, but overall, failure doesn't seem to be an option, and they just seem to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Good luck to them, and let's hope that they just carry on doing that. I don't know what else to say really, because they just keep doing it, don't they? And they don't seem to be they don't seem to have to put themselves out. It just seems to come natural to them. That's the impression I get. So long may that continue.
I think one of the things they do is they attract some really good players.
Yeah.
And their squad is now quite large, and I actually think they're capable of producing a third team, but I don't think they will, because I think people will think they're greedy. I think they're doing brilliant, and I look forward to the results later this month.
Great. Jeff, what is coming up for the Lionesses? Their season is yet to conclude.
So can I firstly congratulate Paul and everyone at the Romans. If they're in 2 finals, seems a long time to wait, June the 9th, but all the best for both teams on that occasion. One thing I would like to remind Millwall fans about, even though our first team season is over, on the 17th of this month, our under-21s are defending their national championship from last season. They're in the semi-final at the Den against Birmingham City, 7 o'clock kickoff. They're fantastic occasions. Everyone should come along to that if they possibly can. Lionesses, well, I think everyone knows we had that game at the Den against a very, very strong Fulham side. Really, really good game. Fulham clinched it in the 89th minute, ended up winning 2-0. The Lionesses have got 1 league game left. That's this Sunday against Enfield Town. They play at the Queen Elizabeth II Stadium over in Enfield. That will then conclude their playing season. The academy sides have all progressed. The under-18s have had a target on their back all season because they won the double last season. And Millwall Lionesses is a big name still in women's and girls football. They've had a good season. Some of those players will now move into senior football, some with us and some elsewhere. I can only wish them all good luck. The highlight for the academy was probably the fact that we had an under-12 side for the first time in 5 years. They've had a really good season, getting stronger and stronger as the year's gone on. Hopefully in the forthcoming trials, we'll be able to recruit some really good players, particularly at that age group. All in all, good season. I'd like to compliment first team's player of the year, Poppy Payne, who's been playing for Millwall off and on for many years. She received her award at the awards night. That was well deserved. That's my report.
Brilliant. Here, we hope Neil secures the players for next season. Is there one wish for each team member? Jeff?
I think we have had some success in recent years with hanging on to players that have done well for us on loan. It would be wonderful if we could do that again. Following what have we done? We did that with Jed, didn't we? We did that with Steve Morrison. There have been others. The one I would like to see us find a way of keeping is Japhet Tenganga. I think the defence has been superb under Neil and has been for a number of years. It probably is time to refresh that. if we could possibly bring him in again for next season, that would be a big plus for me. I think he's done really well.
Absolutely. Stan?
Players that I would hope that we would secure for next season would be Tadanga, because I think he's a quality act. And I also think that the guy who, for me, scored the goal of the season for Millwall against Leicester, I'm hoping we are there. You know, we're losing some quality players out of this talk about in terms of the loanees. So what we're going to need, in my opinion, this year we have to keep progressing, but we've got to try and get players of that sort of quality or better. We can't, you know, it's no good signing somebody from, I don't know, Division 2 for argument's sake and hope he's going to do it in the Championship. Because, you know, each season you have to keep building on what you got. And so therefore you're going to have to sign him. And as I say, it's easier said than done, but you're going to want players of that quality or better than we've just let go.
Brilliant. And Eamonn?
Longman would be a good retain player if we can get him. And Tanganga would be brilliant, but I think he's going to be out of our price range. I thought Tanganga actually was brilliant. I can't see us getting him. But we do need a centre-back to tighten up across that back 4-5-3, whatever it is we end up playing. And I'd like to see someone of the ilk of Obafemi that's got that pace and, I suppose, tenacity and magic that can run players inside out a bit. Beyond that, I think we've got a reasonable side, and I don't think we need to go mad. That's my thoughts.
Great. So let's hear the final of Boot Room Tales from Phil Coleman for this season.
Hello everyone, Phil Coleman here. My final Tales from the Boot Room for this season. I'm going to go back to 1979 and relive some of the memories of that FA Youth Cup winning team. Every one of the 10,000 or so crowd will never forget that night. I bump into them regularly down the den and they all know where they were standing or where they were sitting, and they remember it like it was yesterday. I certainly do. Go back to the first round, Slough, we beat them 3-0. I scored, Kevin O'Callaghan, Dean Horrocks also scored. We then played Norwich, beat them 3-0. Chrissy Dibble, Alan McKenna, Kevin O'Callaghan again. Sunderland was a tough game. I think we woke up after we beat them 2-1. Myself and Dean Horrocks scored. We woke up and realised that we could probably win the tournament. And we were 1-0 down, 3-1 up against Forest, drew 3-3. Alan McKenna got a couple, Kevin O'Callaghan again. And we went away to Forest. And that's where it really was tough. We had one hell of a game up there. Tony Kinsella scored early on and we defended like it was the Alamo. They threw everything at us. They were a very good side. But we also showed that we could fight and scrap. And then we went on to beat Everton over 2 legs, 0-0, 2-0. And then the final 2-0 at home after a 0-0 in the first leg. And I want to pay tribute to somebody else who created the goal in the final, Dave Memmott, and also to somebody that was responsible for getting us to that final, Dean Horrocks. Sadly, both of those two lads are no longer with us. But Dean Horrocks was a very, very talented player, scored goals, went on to have a good career. But in that Forest game, Dino came on as a substitute, and he got whacked in the head and he had a fractured skull. And I can't remember him going to hospital. He just came back on the coach. But Dino was a talented lad, and whenever we have our get-togethers and Dockers Day, we'll always raise a glass for Dino. And we'll also be raising a glass for Mem, because in the semi-final, Paul Roberts talks about Steve McMahon being the best player. But Dave Memmott absolutely bossed Steve McMahon at Everton. Mem didn't go around kicking people and fighting people, bossing them that way. Mem just found space and passed the ball around players for fun. And people like McMahon wouldn't have got near Mem on that night. So those two lads no longer with us. Seriously, always remembered. And a few other stories. I think Mem played the night before the Everton game in the first team. And on the way home, we had a blowout and a coach. And I don't think we got back home till 5 o'clock in the morning after that Everton game. I remember my dear old mum, Forest away. She's sitting a few rows back from Brian Clough, the then Forest manager in 79. And Clough is swearing because we're 1-0 up. He's swearing and hollering and looting from the seats. And my mum turned round and said, "Why don't you shut the effing hell up?" And Mr. Clough turned round and apologised and never said another word after that. Another story, Paul Roberts. Whilst Mem was the leader on the pitch, Robbo certainly was our leader. And there's a good story he tells about Robbo was in charge. So we got him to phone the chairman in the hotel the night before the City game and negotiate a bonus or some sort of reward for our exploits. The chairman turned around and said, "Trust me," and that's what Robbo came back off the phone with. And the reward turned out to be a trip to Paris. But we had to play in a tournament first on the outskirts of Paris. We were staying in this complex, and there was a Yugoslavian team that shared the place with us. So we had a game of football. It was a keep ball in the car park the night before the tournament, and we never touched the ball. So the FA Youth Cup winning team are playing some Yugoslavian team, and we never touched the ball for about an hour in this kick around in a car park. Turned up at the tournament the next day. We won through to the semi-final, and we beat this Yugoslavian lot 9-0. So whilst they could pass the ball, we knew how to win. And then after the tournament, which we won, we had a bit of trouble in the final because some of the Parisians didn't like it. So the police were called and gave us an escort out of the place. But we had 2 days sightseeing around Paris. And I can remember taking a young player, Tony Dark, who played in quite a few of the games. He told us he was scared of heights. So we took him to the very top of the Empire State, of the Eiffel Tower. I think he was white by the time we got him up the stairs to the very top. And we also had a night in the Moulin Rouge, all expenses paid, where I think that was beyond us, 16, 17, 18-year-olds seeing topless can in the Moulin Rouge. And then finally, Lewisham Town Hall for a visit. The council recognised our achievements, and we had a nice night there where the council give us a recognition for our efforts winning the Youth Cup. So great memories. Always remember Dave Memmott. Always remember Dean Orricks. What a bunch of lads that I played with in that run. And also want to thank the fans because they went home and away. Lots of them went up to Forest. Lots of them went up to Everton. I know loads went up to the Man City. And to have a crowd, nearly 10,000, watching a bunch of kids while the first team were being relegated, that lives with us forever. Have a great summer, everyone. All the best. Bye for now.
Thanks, Phil. Topless can dancers beyond our FA Youth Cup winners. Enjoy your summer, Phil. We will take a break there and hear from Millwall Community Trust's Juban Sarami talking about the Millwall Community Trust working with the Rio Ferdinand Foundation.
We delivered a co-hosted tournament at Burgess Park in Peckham with the Rio Ferdinand Foundation and Millwall Community Trust. I think it came about because we attended one of their hosted tournaments again at the same park, Burgess Park, in the October school half term, and I think the Rio Ferdinand Foundation realised the power of both brands, and it made sense for both of us to join up and make a partnership and essentially deliver a co-hosted tournament to engage more and more young people. The tournament that was held in October was very well attended by local grassroots boys teams, and there were a couple of girls teams there, and when we got on board, the participation on the grassroots boys team increased tremendously, and also the participation from the girls grassroots teams went up tenfold as well. So it was really good to do a co-hosted event because we used the power of both brands to engage probably around about 200 young people from the local area in a community competitive sports and football tournament. So yeah, it was great to see. We've had partnerships meetings recently with the Rio Ferdinand Foundation and just trying to identify areas of both organisations and where we can support each other. So we've had really progressive and successful talks, and we're looking to start new projects and programmes for young people in the area, whether those are accredited courses in sports leadership or various other sort of employment and education programmes as well, but also looking to set up a free to access girls fitness session coming soon as well. So both organisations have been able to get together and identify how we can actually both support the community in the local area and provide a wide range of free to access activities for local young people. So we want to build on the tournament that we've done in the Easter holidays and provide more regular provision for local young people. Rio growing up in the local area, and he didn't live too far from where we actually co-hosted the football tournament in the Easter holidays. So having his support from his organisation, himself personally, was amazing to sort of hear, and having somebody so prestigious in the game back in their organisation and our organisation, and the partnership formed will only sort of bear positive outcomes for young people in the area, and having both organisations driving for change and more sort of social inclusion is going to be amazing to see over the next couple of months and over the years to come as well.
I'm your host, Bethany Manxellow, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Jeff Burnige, Stan Godwin and Eamonn Barclay. The Millwall Community Trust team continues to make an impressive impact in everything that they do. Thanks, Shubhan. Our second guest tonight is well known for caring for Millwall families through his funeral directors. He is a former London firefighter and no stranger to this show. Yes, it's a Lions fan, man and boy, Dean Wilson. Hi, Dean.
Good evening. How are you?
Dean. Hi, Dean.
Yeah.
All right,
Hi,
Dean.
everyone.
Nice to speak to you, Dean.
Dean, it's great to have you on the show. We heard from Ted Robinson last week when he was talking to Sean Daly that you and Stan are going to be in the Millwall Community Trust Santa Run with Ted this year. How's preparation going for that?
Yeah. I mean, we've got a long way to go, but preparation going well, keeping fit. I'm hoping to get some sponsorship for the food hub, and generally have a good laugh with the run. But yeah, all going well, keeping fit, and I'm sure we'll have a good day and have a good laugh.
Yeah, Stan's looking forward to it, I know.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It will be a laugh, Stan.
Yeah, well, when that happened, I got well and truly set up there. But I have to say, it was good last year. I have to say that.
Yeah, no, it'll be good, mate.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that goes with the territory, as they say.
It does.
Evening, Dean. It's Jeff here. How are you?
Hi, Jeff. I'm fine, thanks, mate. I'm good.
I don't think you'll see me in a blue and white Santa outfit at Christmas. I think those days have gone. But I promise you this: if you and Stan are running in it, I will sponsor both of you.
Brilliant. We'll hold you to that, Jeff.
And Dean, I'd like to know. I had lunch with you at a recent game, for which I really enjoyed that. Thank you for your hospitality. But
no problem.
At what point, if any, did you have a wobble about our chances of staying in the Championship? And if you did, how would you describe, in your words, the job that Neil Harris done for our club?
Well, I'd like to say I never did have a wobble, but I'd be lying. I did. I was always hopeful that we could reach safety until we played Rotherham and Huddersfield. Then I must admit I thought we may be in trouble. You know me, Jeff. I'm always hopeful and wishing the best for the club. But I must admit I was worried then. As far as Neil's concerned, he's come in and done exactly what was asked of him. I've known Neil for a very long time now, and I know what this club means to him. And I think he came in and he brought the passion back to the club. He took us back to basics. I think Joe was wanting us to play a certain kind of way, which I don't think we had the squad to do, if I'm honest. So, yeah, Neil took us back to basics in our playing style, and he's kept us up. And I think he was the only man for the job. And, what an appointment by the chairman and the board. I didn't see it coming, but, yeah, it was great.
Dean, stand here, mate. Of our loanees this season, who would you have liked to have retained, given the chance, mate?
Definitely Tanganga. He's flourished under Neil's management, I think. He's class on the ball for me. Yes, like most players, he's made a few mistakes. But yeah, I'd like to see him stay. But, we need money for that. And Ryan Longman, he's played well, but I believe yet to see the best of Ryan. We saw flashes of it towards the end of the season, but I think there's a really good player in there somewhere. And lastly, Brooke Norton-Cuffey. He's a real prospect, but, I think he'll be bound for the Premier League, so he's probably out of our budget, I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd say about Tanganga, now I look at it this way, right? I mean, as good as he is, and he's a good player. I mean, no question about that.
Yeah.
But I can't see him getting into the Spurs first team, barring some disaster, injury-wise or nothing like that. Now, okay, he may well have potential to play in the Premier League and whatever, but then I think he's going to want to, if he's going to stay there, And he's going to want to be playing, and he ain't going to want to be sitting on benches and going out on loan again. The feel of like when we had Cooper on loan. I just get the same sort of feeling. But I accept the money potentially could be a difficulty. I don't deny.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously on Premier League wages, and that's something that if the club are going to keep him, they'd have to sort out and to see if we could run to that. But I'd love to see him stay. I mean, in the Championship, I think he'll flourish for us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I agree.
Yeah.
Where do you see the most significant attention needed concerning our squad?
Well, I'd love to see us sign a 20-goal-a-season forward. But obviously, players like that cost big money, and I'm not sure we've got big money. We created the chances last season. We got balls into the box, but I feel we've lacked the quality in our finishing and someone to get on the end of those crosses and those balls into the box. I think we could have scored a lot more goals. And I think we need to have another quality keeper come in to challenge Matty for that for that number one shirt. You know, you've got two keepers at the top of their game. It can only be good for the club and for the squad. So for me, an out-and-out striker and another keeper. That's what I think we need to focus on.
Eamonn here, Dean. Good to talk as usual. Heard some sad news, I think, about Phil Roebuck today, but there you go.
Yeah, we did.
And thinking about what might be a good season after the hectic one that has just passed, where do you think we can finish, given the strong teams coming down and also coming up?
Oh, right. With the teams coming up and coming down, I think it's going to be another challenging season. We don't have the biggest budget, and it's all about money at the moment. I think, but any budget we do have, spent wisely, I really believe that with Neil at the helm, we can look to be in the top 10, because I think it'll bring that passion back, that fire back. And, you know, we just got to spend what money he's got wisely. So I think, we could go back to how we were perhaps under Gary Rowell and start finishing top 10 next season.
Yeah, that'd be good. It's about money well spent. I agree with you.
Definitely.
Cheers.
Great. Well, Dean, thank you for coming on the show. But before we say goodbye, can you describe to me and go into a burning building where everyone else is racing to get out?
Oh, that's a hard one. The first thing that springs to mind is stupidity in running into a burning building when everyone's running out. But that's what we signed up to do.
Yeah.
But seriously, when you're faced with a house fire at 3 a.m. in the morning, you really don't have time to think about what you're doing or what you need to do. And especially if there are people trapped in there, you just know that you're their last hope and you need to get in there. So you don't give too much thought at the time. If I said it wasn't scary, I'd be lying. But we spend a long time training, many hours with my watch and with other watches. And we were always ready for whatever was thrown at us, maybe at night or day. We would just turn up, give it our best. But I think the sense of satisfaction in getting someone out of a house fire is unbelievable, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, just incredible. Well, thank you, Dean, and we will hear from you early next season. All the best to you, Karen, and your family.
Thanks very much, and have a good close season.
Yeah. Cheers, Dean.
Take care, Dean.
Thank you. Take
Cheers,
care.
Dean.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
We will take another break there and listen to Juban Sarami of the Millwall Community Trust talk about Wednesday's takeover by MCT off the pitch.
When the championship season finishes and Millwall's first team's home fixtures come to an end, our community organisation, Millwall Community Trust, has access to the first team pitch at the Den to run our community initiatives from for a day. So this morning we started off by having a primary schools tournament that was attended by around 10 local primary schools. We split the pitch up into 4 quarters and had regular games going on throughout the morning there. That was amazing to see. After that had finished, late morning into the early afternoon, our Post-16 Academy, which is attended by our local students and participants, they have a weekly fixture as part of their sort of EFL Post-16 League, and they had a regular fixture against Charlton. It was supposed to be played at Charlton's home ground, but naturally having access to the Den's first team pitch. It was an opportunity, I guess, the first team and Charlton's first team couldn't turn down, so it's actually being played at the Den as we speak right now, and I believe the score is 2-1 to Millwall currently, so hopefully they see out the last few minutes and come away with the win. And in the afternoon we've got a local secondary school tournament that is going to be attended by a wide variety of secondary schools in the area. I think we have somewhere between 8 and 10 secondary schools attending, and again that will follow the same format as the morning, with the pitch being split up into 4 quarters and regular games going on there. We also have a special education provider coming down as well to lead a SEN session for some students from our SEN sort of partner schools as well. And in the evening we have our player performance pathway, which is our elite coaching arm of the community trust, and all the age groups that are part of the player performance pathway, so under 8s all the way to the under 16s, will be actually having their usual training session on the Den's first team pitch, which is an amazing offer for those young people to receive high level intense coaching at the Den. I think it's going to be a memory for them to cherish for a lifetime. And then finally we move on to the Romans regular fixture against one of the teams in their league. All of that will be happening at the Den today. So yeah, it's a really, really busy day from us. So just want to say a big thank you to all the staff that have been able to pull this together, and all our sort of local partners and providers and schools that have attended the day as well, to make a fun experience for all the young people that we work with too.
I'm your host, Bethany Warren, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Jeff Burnige, Stan Godwin and Eamonn Barclay. That was a great day for so many sides, from primary school children up, but the big result that builds on Paul Loding's report is that they leapfrog Stokey and can draw their final game and still become league champions. Bigger trophy cabinet, Sean Daly? Our final guest has followed Millwall since childhood and led an active sporting life as an amateur boxer and boxing promoter/manager. I'll say no more, but welcome the wonderful Kelly Maloney to the show. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, how are you all?
Hi, Kelly.
All right, Kelly, yeah, fine.
Yeah, and I'm good too. So that's it. But great to have you on, Kelly.
Yeah, nice to be invited. Thank you.
So, Kelly, before I hand you off to the panel, how would you describe the time when you managed boxer Lennox Lewis, albeit a West Ham fan, and he became a 3-time world heavyweight champion, a 2-time lineal champion, and the last heavyweight champion to hold the undisputed championship?
I would say it was stressful, exciting, sometimes very painful, but very interesting. It was a total different way of life for someone from Peckham, against all odds. He signed a contract with me, and we had a great, I think it was 12 years, just over 12 years we were together. And we parted in 2002, I think it was 2001 we parted after the fight in South Africa, because he brought in some new sort of business management. I didn't disagree with the opponent, but I agree with the fight taking place in South Africa, because Lewis, under his new business manager, had done a deal to have a walk-on part in Ocean's 11, and it was being filmed in Las Vegas. So, and it was during the training period. So they went to Las Vegas to train, which is 2,000 feet above sea level, and we were fighting 2,000 feet below sea level, and we were fighting 7 feet above sea level. So Lewis arrived in 10 days before the fight, and just after the first day of training, you could see that he was in no condition and would not be able to compete. But you're too late when you've done the contracts and you've got all TV and everything. And unfortunately, we know the result. Yeah. And they wanted a scapegoat, the new business manager, because it was his first time as Lennox's business manager, and he'd done this deal. And they didn't want Emmanuel Stewart to have to take the blame because, Emmanuel was an elite trainer. And they said to me, can you take the blame? Can you say that it was, you made the rick? And I said, no way am I taking the blame. I've got my own reputation to think of. And it got into a real big argument. Thankfully, I'd sent Lennox a letter once the fight was made, saying, Lennox, you've got to be in Joburg no later than 4 weeks before the fight if you want to prepare right. I used to use a sports physiologist called Joe Dunbar. I'm not sure any of you know him. He was like Alan Kirkland's main man for the fitness team when Charlton were in the old First Division.
Yeah.
And, you know, he backed me fully. But again, they didn't listen to him either. So we got to a big state of an argument, and I said, I'm not taking it. And they said, well, we'll sack you. I said, well, I'll save you the bother. I'll resign. And I just walked out.
Yeah. Right.
So, but it was a shame because, you know, we had a great relationship, and it wasn't really Lennox's fault because, you know, sports people rely on people to run their career. And, you know, they sort of told him this Ocean 11 part would really help his career, help him become an actor. And I was trying to say, but Lennox, you're the world heavyweight champion. You can do the acting when you finish fighting. But, you know, and the worst happened. But luckily enough, he went back on to regain the title. Yeah. And he went his own way. I went my own way. I then promoted David Hay, who became the light heavyweight champion of the world. And I had about 4 other world champions. So I can't moan. And then I sort of walked away from boxing in about 2013 when I couldn't handle all of the things no more because of my own personal issue that was going on in my life. So, but in all that time, I did manage. And one of the things that kept me sane was following my beloved Millwall.
Did anyone say Millwall keeps them sane? It doesn't keep me sane, I can tell you that.
No, I can assure you it didn't this year. And it certainly didn't last year when I was watching the Blackburn game. I just could not believe what happened in the Blackburn game last year. I think I actually broke my television because I spend most of my time at my house in Portugal, so I watch every game on TV, and I actually threw something at the television, and the television cracked, which was unfortunate.
Anyway, what's your Kelly? Stay here, mate.
Hello,
when
Stan.
did you? All right, yeah. When did you first start following Millwall? And was it an option or your destiny?
I think I was 3 years old when I went to my first game. My dad was, and you know what, Stan? I haven't heard the accent since I've been in my dad's pub, Rosie O'Grady's in the Wharf Road.
Oh. yeah. Well,
which was a real Millwall pub run by a very famous old Irish landlady. And I bought a few of the old players down there a few times. We had a great time in that pub, you know. But my dad was a fanatic. But he also liked the dogs, so he used to go to New Cross Dogs and then go into Millwall straight after. And then one day he took me to the dogs, and then he just used to lift me over the turnstiles, and he used to then sit me on the wall along the side, where we used to have a wall before, where the dugouts was. And, you know, and I was going there from the age of 3 years old. And so I blame my dad for my suffering because he could have taken me to Arsenal or Chelsea or Spurs, couldn't he? But, you know, we went to Millwall because we lived in Peckham. And it became part of my ritual. And if he wasn't going to the dogs, I used to moan. I wanted to go to the football. And if he didn't go, he'd get one of my uncles or one of his friends to take me.
Yeah. No, I understand that, and but what you said about the accent made me smile. Because the reason I say that is because a few months ago I was in a baker's down in Bexley Heath, and he said to me, you come anywhere off the Old Kent Road? I said, yeah, I do, as it happens. Why? He said, I could tell by your accent. No, I'd never heard that said to me before.
No, I used to say to me quite a bit.
Yeah, and I said to him, well, where'd you come from? He said, do you know Grange Road? I said, yeah, I know Grange Road, okay. He said, I'm off of there. But when he said that, I'd never heard that said to me before about accent, you know. But anyway, he picked it up, this bloke, so, you know.
At least we speak better English than the West Ham fans. Let's put it that way.
Well, absolutely true, mate, absolutely true.
Kelly, it's Jeff Burnige here, mate.
Hello, Jeff. How are you?
I'm really well. How's the weather in Portugal, you lucky so-and-so?
Do you know, it's really nice. And I have to be honest, I started following the Portuguese football team, SC Florence. They're in the top division. They play like Porto, Benfica, Sporting Lisbon.
I've watched them. They're based in Faro on the...
yeah, that's it. Well, I'm not far. I'm about 25 minutes from their ground. So I've got a group of English guys out here and a few of their wives, and we go in a regular group. But it's very much like early days at the Den. The atmosphere is intense, and they've got these group of supporters that are called ultras, and they do not stop singing from the minute they get in the ground to the minute they leave the ground. If they're winning, losing, or whatever, they just non-stop singing it. It's amazing. The ground only holds about 8,000, but I tell you what, if any of you got any contacts, look at them. They've got some outstanding players there that would fit into Millwall and probably benefit us.
Right.
Well, you and Stan were talking about your South London accents. As you can tell, I've basically lost mine.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, you was always a bit posher, Jeff, even when I knew you were Millwall.
Well, not everyone would agree with you there, but my family come from Snows Fields, which is, I believe, that David Hay went to the same school as my dad, the school in Snows Fields, right by Guy's Hospital. But no, I don't have the Stan Godwin accent, much to my regret. You sat on that wall on the dugout side at the old Den. I did the same. We used to go park at the Alderton Road End car park. Go in there, go to the front, sit on the wall, legs over the wall. Policeman would come along and say, "Get your legs behind the wall," and we did. And as soon as his back was turned, our legs went back over the wall. Were you the same?
Oh, I know. They were the good old days, weren't they? I mean, I actually remember being so, like the game against Newcastle down there when all them Geordies came down. It was the first time I ever seen mad football fans take all their shirts off, no matter what the weather was like. And I was there when one of our lovely supporters ran on and give Derek Dugan a nice left hook. I think that's when I must have got interested in boxing.
That was a few years later, that one. But now tell me, who was your favourite Millwall player of all time? And
do you know what?
Why
that's
was
really
he your
hard.
favourite?
That's really hard because I went through stages. I loved Keith Weller. I liked Derek Posse. I also liked Eamon Dunphy. I thought he was very good. And then you can go back further, like Harry Cripps, the Brady brothers, Brian King, I liked, Alex Stepney. I like, and then obviously I got to know the more modern players because of my boxing, because I used to always come boxing. And Dennis Wise used to bring up the team to our gym in the Old Kent Road because he wanted to toughen them up. And we used to do, one day a week, he used to do boxing training with us there, the whole team. Would come up to our gym in the Old Kent Road. It was quite interesting because he'd put them into spar with each other. And then he'd want one of them to spar with him, and I was always frightened to hit him because when he's the governor, we can't hit him. And I said to one of them, "Look, he's a bit of a." I said, "That's a bully. That's an attitude of a bully." I said, "So sometimes you've got to put them in their place." And I won't say which football it was. And he said,
go on, tell us which one. Go on.
No, I can't. And he said, "I've been picked today to box with the governor." I went, "Well, I said he comes running out the ring." I said, "All you do is just put your hand straight left hand." And he walked straight onto, and sure enough, he did. And Dennis Wise ended up on the floor, and we never saw the Millwall team at our gym again.
Brilliant.
But Millwall's I don't know. It's more than a football team. It's a way of life, I believe. It gets in your blood, and as you said, as Bethany said, it's like you're addicted to it. 1 minute you're on a high, the next minute you want to pull your hair out. The next minute you never want to go to another game, and then the next week, well, I'm definitely going. I don't know. I can't explain it.
It's fantastic. That's what it's like. And we used to have old Dunphy down at St Tommy's to take us for football, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a character, Eamon Dunphy. I actually was interviewed by him when I went to Ireland one time because he started working for the Irish media.
Yeah.
But he was a real. But all through the Millwall team, they were real characters.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, and even the managers, we had some great. I mean, like Billy Gray. Great. I worked with his nephew was a top boxing matchmaker, Ron Gray, and I worked with Ron, and he used to tell me certain things. I don't know. It's just, and then Benny Fenton, he was a real character. Yeah. I mean, I love reading Brian King's book, and the stories in there about Benny fencing were unbelievable, you know. And sometimes I bump into what's his name out here in Portugal, Horn.
Brian Horn,
Brian Horn, because he lives he's got a place here in Portugal and he's out. And I bump into him and we swap stories, and you know, and that's what I like about it. The Millwall players, they really respect their fan base.
Yeah.
And you know, if they're true Millwall players, they're playing for the club. They're not like today. A lot of footballers have got no loyalty at all.
No.
But I just think the Millwall players, if they're real true players, they've got such loyalty to the club and to the fan base.
Yeah. Kelly, my question is, what was or has been your most memorable game at the Den?
At the Den, there's a few. The Crystal Palace game in '90. I loved it when we used to beat Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that was always good, wasn't it?
Yeah, 1994 we beat Palace 3-0. I loved that one.
Yeah.
The playoff game against Huddersfield in 2010.
What a numbers.
Yeah, there was loads of games like the Aston Villa game in 1997 on a Monday night. I could go on forever. I mean, I can't particularly say one game was special than others, but one time I was doing a promotion up in Cardiff and the Welsh football team were up there and we were all in the same restaurant, and I'm sure it was Brian Horn, was it? Played for Everton and... No, not Brian
Barry
Horn.
Hall.
Barry Hall.
Barry Horn, yes, sorry, Barry Hall. We were in this bar and he said, you're a Millwall supporter, aren't you? He went, that Den is the craziest place we've ever been. He said, you just won promotion to the first division. I said, that was the year. Yeah, that was a great game when we went up to Hull and we won that game up there. That game. He said, we came down and we just thought we'd have to turn up and beat you. He said, and the bell went. I don't know if this is true. He said, the bell went and we lined up to come out of the dressing room. And as we came up, this police officer came with all the things on, and he went, I don't want to scare you guys, he said, but if you get injured along the sideline, I suggest you crawl back onto the pitch. He said, because the fans here are not very welcoming and we may not get to you in time. And he said, like, from standing 10 feet high thinking we're going to win 3 points, the whole team just sunk and we went out and we lost 2-1. And I just think that was Millwall. It was the fear of playing at Millwall, wasn't it, that frightened a lot of them.
It still is.
Yeah, well, it's getting back. We lost it, I think. I think we lost it a bit towards last year and this year. Since the Blackburn game, we lost it.
Yeah.
But it's coming back, I'm glad to say.
Thanks, Kelly.
So, Kelly, you still follow the Lions and clearly so passionate about their achievements and what we've done. So, what would you like to see Millwall do over the next 5 years?
Well, I've been following the development of the ground. They got their new lease, haven't they? 999-year lease. I hope they continue what they said they're going to do, like build around the ground. I think that will really help the game. And it makes me think they definitely got ambition to try and get in the Premiership. I've seen Millwall in the FA Cup final. I've seen them win all the divisions except for the top one. And I would love to see them in the Premiership before I die. So I just hope they get into the Premiership.
If not before you die, Bethany, all right.
Yeah.
I think I'm a lot older. I think I'm a lot older than Bethany, so I haven't got as much time as her. So.
Well, go on.
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be very honest. When they reappointed Neil, I wasn't so sure, but he's done a fantastic job. I think he deserves the year, but I hope the board back him and give him some money to buy some players, because, we can't continue with the same players that we've got now, because some of them have been great servants, but they've got to understand, the board, that age does catch up with you in sport, and they can't keep going, and the Championship, the quality in the Championship is getting better and better every year and more competitive.
That's
and
right.
if we don't get some young blood in there, or if Neil doesn't bring through some of the young players, because Neil's very loyal to his boys that serve him well, and I can understand that, because I was like that with my boxers. But sometimes you've got to be a bit ruthless and maybe move them on and bring in some younger blood if you want to stay competitive and at the top. It's a fact of life in sport, isn't it? A lot of people may not agree with me, but I'd like to see Neil probably do this year. Maybe move Neil upstairs to like the general manager of football and bring in. I like Joe Edwards' coaching style. I'm not saying as a manager, because I believe being a manager and a coach are two different things. I was a good manager, but I wasn't a great boxing trainer, even though I did train some fighters. But manager-wise, I was better than I was a coach, and I think it's the same in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. So, what are you thinking for next season under Neil? Do you think we'll be a top 6 finish, mid-table, or in a potential relegation fight like this year?
If he's not given the money to buy players, I think we'll be a relegation fight. I've watched, I know Neil personally. He was, he's a great human being. He was one of the first people to contact me when my story broke and sent me a nice text message to say, you'll always be welcome at Millwall. You're part of the family, and that really made me feel good. And I have a lot of respect for Neil, and I think his management style. This year coming back to Millwall has been. You can see there's a different style. I didn't, his long ball tactics that he used to use when he was there originally before he left, I don't think would work anymore. But I think a little bit of Joe Edwards has rubbed off on the team, and Neil's added to that. They're playing better football than just booting the ball up forward to a 5'4" centre forward when he's playing against 6'3" defenders.
Yeah.
I may not go down well saying that, but
I happen to think you're spot on. Absolutely spot on, mate. But
the problem being, it's very easy to be an armchair critic and an armchair manager. I used to get it so much in boxing, people telling me what to do. But if you're not there every day watching the players, not knowing what's going on, not understanding what they're going through. When I'm watching Sky, if Gary Neville is commentating or speaking, I turn the sound down. I think he is the worst, most arrogant person I've ever come across in football. A failed manager, failed coach, he's always got it right when he's telling off other managers.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we hope to have you on again in the not too distant future. That would be great.
Okay, yeah. Let's hope it's in the next season and we're in the Premiership.
Yeah, let's do it. Right, we'll hold you to that. Thanks. Wish you all the best, and to you and yours. Bye for now, Kelly.
Thank you. Thanks all.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, Kelly. Bye,
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care, Kelly.
Bye.
Well, I am sad to say that this is our final show of the 23-24 season. Nonetheless, don't forget you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring Millwall reports and also updates on Millwall community matters too on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM. Also, look out for specials when something of great interest happens over the summer. Additionally, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook and X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram and all popular podcast sites. Thank you, Jeff.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, see you, Jeff.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
And thank you, Eamonn.
Thank you, Bethany. It's been brilliant.
And thank you all for listening. And we look forward to you joining us for season 24-25. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. And it's good night from me.
Our Millwall Fan Show is sponsored by G&M Motors of Gravesend, Honda dealers and much more. Thank you.